The best way to describe Catherine Ledesma? Sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Let me back up a little bit. So that last name, Ledesma, that's her married name, if you understand what I'm putting down. So her 12 or 13 year younger husband, who obviously is Latino, that's where she got the last name from. This woman is not melanated. And I have a particular disgust for her because out of everything that I had to put up with while I was in private school, this is the only bitch that actually put hands on me. And we'll get to that. But why do I say that she's so sloppy? So the entire school doesn't have to know that you wear a thong. Like, how sloppy are you? So when I knew her, when I was there, the 1 year that I went to San Francisco Christian School, Mrs. Ledesma, who had just had a baby, who was nursing a however month old this infant was, she would cram herself into these tiny little skirts, these tiny little mini skirts. So fucking inappropriate. So, again, sloppy and disgusting. And, you know, she'd bend over to help people. Kids have eyeballs. And then before you know it, the entire school knows that sloppy Miss Ledesma wears these skimpy little underwear, probably because she has to keep up with her husband, who's a decade younger than her. Let me tell you about why I have so much angst against this bitch. And honestly, touch me again. I wish you would, bitch. So, one day, I was waiting on the steps of the church school. Because again, many of these Christian schools, I don't know about the Catholic ones, but the Christian schools are many times, the church is also the school. They don't have enough money to have their own building. And that's definitely the case with San Francisco Christian. As a matter of fact, they have since lost the modulars that were across the street. So they're exclusively out of the tiny little church where they do their schooling also. So I'm sitting there on the steps. I believe it's the last period. I'm waiting for the last period to get out, for my friends to get out so that we can take the bus together and go home. I have any idea who this bitch is. And she comes up and she talks to me very nice at first, introduces herself. Obviously, I'm a new student. This is my first year at the school, right? And then I don't remember where things fell off. But all of a sudden, the conversation turned to, I wasn't allowed to be there. I didn't have any permission to be there. Mind you, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was literally sitting on the steps and reading a book. And when I tried to get up and leave, she pushed me. She literally put her hands on me and kept me there. She did it twice. She put hands on me 2 separate times. And then I started to cry. Again, it's embarrassing. It's something that used to happen a lot easier. It's something I've managed to get a little bit better control of my emotions, but something about an administrator, a bitch who was not a teacher of mine, who I had just met, something about her putting her hands on me and like forcing me to stay in one spot. The only reaction I knew was to cry, because again, I was taught better, because I guarantee you, if this happened this time, try me. Anyway, so I started to cry, and I don't remember how the situation was resolved, but the next day or a couple days later, I ended up in the principal's office. So Mr. Assire, another idiot that didn't know his ass from six bits. I know there's a lot of idiots. And the thing is, if you're like me and you're wondering how these people are running around without their heads imploding from the lack of there being anything in there, again, let me know. I'm just as curious as you, because it's a literal, it's a disaster. And it's, anyway. So all I remember about the meeting is that these 2 people are shaming me, making me feel horrible, and then ended up forcing me to apologize to Miss Ledesma for, I guess I was disrespectful, even though the bitch put hands on me when she had no fucking business doing so. So, I get the last say. The thing is that more than a couple of years later, I found out that she was actually giving my sister trouble too, because again, it's not like these people have anything better to do, but her miserable ass is still stuck in that school like she'll always be, trying to catch up with her husband, who's at least a decade younger than her. Oh, also a cop, if I didn't mention that already. But sloppy Catherine Ledesma, you sloppy bitch, try to put hands on me again. I wish you would.